We've got a handful of fires blazing that I want to get to in keeping with, on slow days, just having our show meeting on air.
Okay, we have fires?
Yeah, we've got fires. You've caused one of them. We'll get to that in a second. It's a good one. Stugat's a little uncomfortable, and we have to be careful how we discuss this because it is possible. I am willing to concede on the front end that it is totally possible that this is 100% my fault because I'm a bad planner and that I agreed to things that I don't remember agreeing to. So I'm prefacing everything that we're saying that may be a barrage at Stugat's by saying I may be wrong.
Okay.
We're going to figure it out together.
But we're not sure yet.
We're not sure yet,
Okay.
but the jury seems to be leaning towards Stugatz has done Stugatzian things.
Oh, God.
Allison,
I'm trying to improve myself. Mike knows this. I've talked to him about it. I got my wife helping me out. I'm trying to be more organized, trying not to say yes to everything and then realizing I can't do it and have to say no to 3 of the 4 things I agreed to. I'm doing my best here, man. Baby steps.
Okay. Baby steps on being an adult. Okay. But okay. We'll get to that in a second.
All right.
But I just want you to see the 3 top items. They're helping me here, the producers, in an effort to keep me young, and us young. They're helping us by giving us just 3 trending topics a day, things that are going on because I've gotten out of my computers. It's been, blissfully liberating.
Right. I'm sure. I can't imagine.
I mean, there's just too much poison, Stugatz. It's
Yep.
just this. We are addicted to these poisons on the internet, and I'm not saying that you can't enjoy your distractions. I'm just saying that the way that we're using these devices is a human addictive condition that we are all tolerating and is just sucking the life out of us.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3 items are Questlove denies ridiculous allegations of racial discrimination.
Okay.
Erykah Badu says, quote, I saw something good in Hitler. David Copperfield is accused of drugging and assaulting a model when she was 17. Those are your day's headline.
All right.
Just going through celebrity, who drugged whom, who said something they shouldn't have said about Hitler, who's being accused of racial discrimination. Check, check, check. We'll do it again tomorrow.
All right.
Tackled them all.
2018.
That's right. Keep it moving. Now, so let's get to our show meeting here.
Tackle them all.
Tackled them all. Questlove denies ridiculous allegation of racial discrimination. Erykah Badu says, I saw something good in Hitler. I don't even want to keep reading that story. I mean,
She said he was a wonderful painter.
I think there's just one rule in public discussions of Hitler and celebrity. Just don't point out the good stuff because you know the bad stuff.
Yeah, it far outweighs the good painting.
That's right. And
Yes.
the highways and the education systems and whatever else people want to say about Hitler's ideas. There was that whole genocide thing that requires that you not say he's a good painter. I'm okay with that limitation on general freedom of speech.
And Erykah Badu famously doesn't have like PR people around, so she gave this interview, and this would appear to be a masterclass in follow-ups because she says, I can see the good in all people, and the interviewer is like, all people? What about Hitler? And so Erykah Badu was tested.
Okay.
She had to make a decision
All right,
here.
she had to make a decision.
Made
All right.
the wrong one.
That's the interviewer trapped her there. I'm trying to see the good in people.
But there's one direction
Which
that
one?
you shouldn't go if you're Erykah
Right.
Badu.
Right.
You say touche.
Although
as a response.
is Badu among women? Yoko Ono is famously known as band destroyer. Among women, has there ever been a woman who's more of a creative muse to creative men than Badu? Seriously, Mike.
She's absolutely a muse. She's got a sort of a Yoko reputation about her too.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime your favorite rapper is interacting with Erykah Badu, you kind of get
I know,
worried.
but Mike, imagine Yoko Ono doing it also to the Rolling Stones. Like Yoko Ono got it just she did it one guy on the Beatles. Imagine Yoko Ono with the powers to just destroy bands with being a woman. You know what I mean? Because men can't. It's not the fault of the woman. It's the fault of idiots. We the men. Anyway, this is what we're dealing with Stugatz. And Stugatz, forgive me because I really don't. I was genuinely confused at the questions I was getting this morning.
Okay.
Because Billy was asking me, do you want me to go to Bristol?
Right. Well, do you?
Well, okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Let's
Thought we
backtrack.
discussed this.
Well, maybe we did discuss it. Please help me here.
Okay.
Because I got a text from you last night.
Yep.
And it felt to me like you were saying, hey, Dan, this show is my number one priority. I'm going to go do Wingo and Golic for a couple of weeks. I'm also going to do Highly Questionable.
No, that's not what I was.
Okay.
You misread my text.
Okay, so explain to me.
There's a good chance I wrote it like that, but that's not what I meant.
Okay, but what is, all right, well, what, I was just confused.
All right, check
So yesterday.
You misread what I wrote wrong?
Maybe.
I don't think I wrote it wrong,
I may
Mike.
have, I am totally willing to concede that all of this confusion is my fault. I'm not joking here.
Well, we're off to a rocking start so far.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, what do you think happened? Just explain to the audience here. For those of you who don't know, Stugotz gets saucer eyes. No matter how much he has, he wants more. It doesn't matter how much he has. He always wants more. So we're always trying to.
I'm
Mike,
sorry, I'm laughing.
Why are you laughing?
You're face while he's reading.
Well, no, I'm confused at how Dan misinterpreted my text to him. I mean, it's pretty clear.
All right, well, let's go ahead and read the text on air so the audience can hear what the text is. Is that okay? Is it legal to put it on air? Because I haven't cleared any of this with you.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Man, I mean,
are you going to edit the text?
Are you going to read it out loud?
Are you going to read it out loud, or are you going to read it?
Well, I'm trying to think if there's one part of it I could read
right,
that might hurt someone's feelings here. All right,
there's somebody's feelings involved.
Well, potentially.
Whose feelings?
Are these my feelings?
No, not Mike's at all.
Okay, I'm just going to read
it. Are they Billy's feelings?
Yeah, you got no. They're not Billy's at all. Dan will know when he.
Okay,
yeah.
No, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it.
Right?
No,
yeah,
I'm going to read it here.
Okay.
So Stugotz writes in, hey, spoke to Mike about February 7th through the 9th with me and Billy going to Bristol, with me filling in for Trey. Mike is understandably concerned because no co-host has been booked for Highly Questionable yet.
Mm-hmm.
He's assuming Mina, Pablo, et cetera, can't do that week because they already said no to HQ. I'd actually prefer staying here and co-hosting HQ with you that way. Either way, we need to just get back to somebody.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. Stugotz is trying to decide between whether he should be here or go to Bristol for Golic and Wingo.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to decide that. I'm happy. I'm fine going to do that. I don't want to. This is the show that I'm paid to do. You are my obligation. The show is my first obligation. I'm okay going up there to do it. I want to make sure, and Mike wants to make sure that, we're leaving you in good, comfortable hands.
Okay,
That's
but
all.
Mike, so then what happened next
I was thinking about you there.
Okay, he's thinking about me. So, but here's the thing
And
with
so
you.
was Mike, by the way.
Okay, but here's the thing, Stugotz.
Oh, here we go.
But here's the thing. When it comes to you and thinking about me, everyone always believes you have your own agenda. That's fair, correct?
Totally.
So, my response to Stugotz was, go to Bristol. Go do Wingo and Golic. And then the response was, no, I don't want to. And so it's, no?
No.
Okay, what's the response? Like, we're trying to do the shades and grades and degrees of Stugotz manipulations and agendas.
My response to that was, you did say, do the Trey thing. We'll figure it out. I don't know HQ's schedule. I said, my obligation is to you and our show, period, end of discussion. Mike will find out.
But it's not period, end of discussion, because you want to go to Bristol, do you, or do you not?
I just told you my preference, because you don't have a co-host for HQ yet, would be to stay here and do the show.
You weren't offered HQ. Your preference was to
I'm
take
never offered HQ.
No, but I'm saying your preference was to take a highly questionable spot that wasn't offered to you.
I mean, I sit here every day. No, it wasn't offered to me, but perhaps if they knew I was available and they don't have a co-host, maybe it would be offered to me. That's all I'm saying. I was saying I'd rather spend a little extra bonus time with you than go up there and hang out with a
bonus time with me, or bonus appearance fees that come with being on Highly Questionable?
Well, it was the money, definitely. And the TV exposure, man. I'm trying to get better at this thing, and I don't have many opportunities, and so drives me crazy. Every time I'm sitting here at 1 o'clock, and Israel Gutierrez walks in every day. I mean, jeez.
The weird thing is, Izzy feels the same way you do.
How can he feel like that? He does for every 10 shows he does. I do one.
Izzy feels the same way you do, and here we are.
All right. I didn't mean to make this about Israel Gutierrez. It could be anyone.
You did, though.
Katie Nolan.
You didn't make it about Izzy Gutierrez, but you did.
All right.
I don't make the HQ schedule. Bomani left for a show that was supposed to be starting in January. I don't know where that show is. Bomani left. We've just been dating since then. We just keep bringing people through here. I don't know if this is the permanent solution or not. I haven't talked to anybody about it in any length. Like Mike knows, I get in here every Monday and I ask him who's in with us this week.
Yeah.
And his response is never me.
How many times has it actually been you?
I have no idea.
Very few. Let's not do this again.
Listen, I'm grateful.
Let's not do because
Right.
then we'll peel
Very
through
few.
we'll pour through the numbers and it won't
Listen,
for anybody.
only when there's a Cat 3 hurricane. I mean,
Okay, but you do realize, right, that, or maybe you don't realize, that Mike and Billy and Hawk can be sitting here. I've never been on Highly Questionable. Roy and Chris and Allison. I've never been on Highly Questionable.
yeah. Yes. Well, Hawk, But yeah.
But Highly Questionable was created because of stuff you and Hawk were doing. Like, you forget that part.
I don't forget that part. Listen, I remember all of it. I mean, I'm here making the drive every day. I can't speak for the other person in this equation. He didn't want to make the drive, man. And therefore, because of that, no TV show for me. I mean,
that's not true.
That's not fair,
What do you mean,
man?
no TV show for you? You had, how many TV appearances have you had? What's the number? 10?
10 to 15, man.
How many has Izzy had?
Oh, he's probably had.
Don't do this now.
Yeah, don't do
It's
it.
a lot more.
Yeah,
We've
a
done
lot
this.
more.
Ask him. Call Izzy right now. Ask him. 30?
Oh, I'm guessing way more than that.
I'm not.
I mean, but you say 30, that's 3 times as many as Stu Gatz.
Right.
I don't think it's 30.
Oh, I think it's 30.
Izzy's got the same complaint you do.
What, that I'm in too
That
much?
he's the fill-in. That we never call him for anything except when we can't get somebody. It's the same complaint. I don't understand how it's coming from 2 different people.
I mean, that's his role, and he has to get used to it. I'm fine with it. I mean, they call me after Izzy says no. So how do you think that makes me feel? They go to Israel. He's the last line of defense. Izzy says no, and that's, hey, Stugatz, you want to do it? And 1 day notice.
Wait a minute. This is excellent deflection by you. It's excellent
I
deflection.
get the rundown in the middle of the show. I can't even prepare for it.
Tell me more about how our show is the priority while you're trying to do Golic and Wingo. Tell me more about that. I want to. You've deflected this into something else.
Right. Well, Trey's taken off right after the Super Bowl, which is a smart thing to do right after the Super Bowl. And when you just started a brand new radio show, he's taken off a bunch of time. And listen, he deserves it. He works hard. And I like Trey. They asked me to come up and do 3 days.
Why aren't you complaining that you're a fill-in on that show? Why aren't you complaining that they only call you when Wingo's not available?
Well, I mean, it's a permanent job. You have an opening. There's an open seat there.
But
I'm just never sitting in it.
For the record, though, they wanted you. You didn't reach out to them, correct?
Yes, they 100%. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How long did they want you for?
Oh, no, he asked me, one of our bosses up at ESPN asked me about a week ago. And my response was, I got to talk to Mike and Dan and make sure that we're leaving Dan in good hands. That's all.
Okay,
That's what I said.
So you're taking Billy?
Well, I thought you and I discussed this. I thought it would be a good idea to take Billy because I think there is some importance to being up in Bristol because we're never there. Mm-hmm. And there are people up there that we don't have relationships with. So I thought it'd be important for Billy, if he wanted to, come up for 3 days, meet some people, and also co-executive produce that show with me.
Would that be allowed? Have you talked to anybody else about the idea of Billy co-executive producing? Have you asked anybody about this?
I asked one of our bosses about this.
Okay. And so, yes, that would be good for Billy.
And then I just, hopefully just the way we listen, the show's different when you're not there, of course, when we're all not together, but hopefully the way we work and the way we think with Billy co-executive producing the show, maybe some of that, how we work, how we think, the things we do, the chances we take would rub off on their staff.
Well, I think that you should do that. I think that's good for you, and I think that's good for Billy. But what it felt like last night is that you didn't want to do any of what was good for you and for Billy. You just wanted to see how you could host Highly Questionable that week. I got it right.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I got it right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was leveraging you, essentially.
All right, Mike, who is hosting Highly Questionable that week?
No
that
idea.
week right now, they're trying to get Bomani, which is why everyone's sort of in a holding pattern, and I do know who the backup is. It's Izzy.
I mean, jeez. Hi, everyone. Stugatz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Don Le Batard.
Hip-hop surpassed rock and roll as music's most consumed genre. Yes. R&B accounted for 8 of the 10 most popular artists based on total consumption. Drake and Kendrick Lamar claim the top 2 spots with Future, The Weeknd, Eminem, and Lil Uzi Vert.
Uzi?
The hell is that?
Stugotz.
Anyway, Uzi was among the other acts cracking the top 10. Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran were the only...
For the love of God, man. I don't know what to do with that.
I don't
know what to do with that.
When he was popular, I knew his name.
This is as close to equality as we've ever been. As a country.
Wait a minute. We have reached the moment of harmony in America, finally. It's the whitest and the blackest we've ever been together merged. He can get both names equally wrong, whether you're Ed Sheeran or Uzi Vote.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Guillermo, do you want to go to Bristol to co-produce Golic and Stugotz? Stugotz and Golic, whatever the name of the show is going to be while Stugotz is up there.
It's Golic and Wingo. I don't think they changed the name.
Not yet. Wait till you get there. Yeah, wait till you get there.
What a question. I'm still not convinced that's even happening, is the thing. Like, I feel like he's going to be doing HQ.
You think he's going to parlay it as that Stugotz is so slippery and slithery that he's going to get his agenda served, and so you won't have to make a decision on whether to go to Bristol or not?
Yeah, I feel partially like I'm a pawn in this. Like, not only is he going to go, he's taking people with him so that he has to stay.
What's great about you feeling like a pawn is I also feel like a pawn in all of this. And really, in the world Stugotz wants to live in, everyone is his pawn.
I don't know.
And then
That's
he'll
the
want
world I do live
right.
in.
And then he'll want somebody else's world where the guy seems to have more pawns.
But I'm not sure what he actually wants to do is the thing.
That's correct. Well, this is the thing. He's got so many options. This is why I was talking to you guys about Nick Saban and whether he could do his job more easily than how he does it. You guys are realizing, right, that as this show climbs and as everyone climbs, as Stugotz and I climb, Stugotz and I are doing less and less work. I come in here and I've got the Badu Hitler story. I don't have to do anything. I just come in here and things are put in front of me. And as long as I get to the seat, I don't have to do much of anything else.
You're asking if we realize that? We're aware. Yeah, we're aware.
I was asking the audience. I wasn't asking you guys.
Okay.
That the higher you climb, like highly questionable. I don't even know who's sitting next to me. I go in there every day. I screw around with my father.
Right.
It's 45 minutes of laughing and goofing around. They put it on television, then we leave.
Safe bet is it's not me.
It really is amazing. Like, this is not what I thought the height of the industry would be. The host having no idea if Katie Nolan's walking through a door or not.
But this is what I'm telling you is the higher you climb. I'm wondering if the higher you climb in industry, the less you actually have to do. That if Nick Saban or one of these other guys, if Belichick simply chose, you know what? I don't want to be a caveman anymore. I'm going boating with my girl. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Can he do it? Of course he can. I mean, why do you think I want to keep climbing?
Is your industry one of those things, like, in order to make money, you got to have a lot of money? Yeah. And as soon as you reach a certain point, it just gets easier for you guys?
Mike, I can't believe how it's happening now. I can't believe that I am coming into work on a moment's notice, having done no prep for any of the jobs that I'm doing. And over the course of the day, I get myself informed enough that I can do it well enough that not a lot of people are noticing. Some of you might notice. But the funny derailments and if you're listening closely to what's happening around here, the show is getting more and more fun. That's what's happening with the loosening of everything at the top. I should say more and more fun for me and Stugotz. Perhaps not more and more fun for the rest of you as you get more and more work.
Might have been some chirping from this room.
Yeah, well, I saw it. I didn't hear the chirping because it's soundproof, but I saw sweeping over your faces. Yeah, we're doing all the work at the bottom of a slave ship.
Extra long swigs from the water.
All right. Well, but speaking of which, let's bring this up here with Guillermo. But here's the thing, though, man. Like, if we want to go ahead. If eventually it's just me and Stugotz showing up for a bus, and then taking this show on the road and filling a stadium somewhere with people who want to go to radio things. You guys will be doing all the work, but you guys will also be getting all the money.
I think you've sort of revealed why Billy is really going up to Bristol. Makes Stugotz look good.
Mm-hmm. Keep building it.
Yep.
Keep making it stronger. Keep doing.
Has nothing to do with Billy.
Keep doing Stugotz's work.
I won't get him in front of anyone.
Uh-huh.
I think everyone's off that week anyways.
Billy, we are. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Put it on the poll.
mean, I need someone to feed me jokes.
Put it on the poll.
That stuff.
Are we all pawns in Stugotz's game?
I mean, you think I'm going up there and going solo with Stanzik? What, are you out of your mind? I've asked a couple of things. I want Guillermo there because I think it'd be good for Guillermo and definitely good for me. And I've asked Mike Golic Jr. to stick around till at least 9 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I'm entitled, I feel like, at this stage of my life and my career to make to do less work. And to make two meaningless, really, in the grand scheme of things. Like, just listen, these are the two things I want if you want me to come up to
Wow.
Bristol. There's actually three, but I'm not going to,
But you just made Billy meaningless? You just made Billy going meaningless.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And what is the third?
Yeah.
Well, we could all.
You said two meaningless things. You said two meaningless things. We all heard you.
I meant small things. There are small demands in the grand scheme of everything we're talking about.
I love the idea of Stugotz barging into Golic and Wingo with demands. Just the idea of that is blissfully delightful to me.
I mean, they're small demands, though.
They agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
And I'm not going to lie here. Yes, Billy being there helps me, but I'm also thinking about it. Listen, I haven't earned your guys' trust, and I realize that. So I don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. But I am thinking about Guillermo here, and this would be good for his career, I think.
But the thing about you, this is one of the wonderful things about the Stugotz. Stugotz is an absolutist. Stugotz does not do discerning. So both of these things can be true while Stugotz is making them in his head only one of the things. Stugotz can honestly want to help Billy here. And also would be less interested in helping Billy if it didn't guarantee serve Stugotz. Both of those things are allowed to be true. But Stugotz in his head has made it so that it's 100% about doing something for Billy, which is what allows him the rationalization of being able to do it for himself.
I hate that you know so much about me, man.
Because this would be good for Billy. This would be good. Like, it's good for everybody to be more connected to Bristol.
But
except me.
Right.
You don't want me connected to Bristol.
Right. But I want you to be comfortable. And I hope you know that. And I think you believe me.
I know.
That.
The show, when you leave, the show gets worse. And it will get worse while you're gone. But if the greater good, the show will get worse with you and Billy gone, for sure. Especially if you put Cody in that damn seat.
This was my concern.
I mean,
express in a text message.
Well, Cody is.
Well, what's Izzy doing?
Cody's on a train straight to delirium. Cody's behavior lately has been so erratic.
Are you concerned?
Pills.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You're good.
Opioids, more specifically. No, I don't know if Cody's on pills or not. I do know he's behaving as if he is.
There's something going on there.
There's something off. He comes in here and he doesn't seem to understand any of what we're doing. Like the way that he showed up for that megacast made me feel at the end, my grandfather had Alzheimer's. He was walking around the house with his underwear in his hand. The way Greg Cody showed up for our megacast, I legitimately thought he was drunk. And when told he wasn't drunk, I thought there's something off here in medication. Something is very wrong.
It was a Gregacast.
Right. He comes in here with a baseball cap, calling it a Gregacast, and it was his only contribution. He seemed to be disoriented and confused by the TV lights.
He did, yeah. But I could see how that could happen. Like, he doesn't have a ton of experience. He just walked into something he wasn't used to walking into. Like, that's dizzying for someone his age.
Greg, my father is a 74-year-old exile from a different country who does these shows in his second language, doesn't know anything about being in the media. He sat in front of a camera the first day, and it's better than Cody has been on any day.
I'm concerned about him. I love him, man, because I've noticed it as well. I really have. And for me to notice it, like, you know him a lot better than I do.
Can we call him, or at this point? At this point,
yeah, I would leave it alone.
He's never coming on this damn show again.
We're done.
You think? Okay. You want to call him?
Yeah. Well, we need to build up some credentials with him because he feels like every time we're calling him now is just a hard network out him. So if we're calling now. The way he ended the show this week, though, Stugotz, where he was proud of himself for knowing that the clock was coming up, but he stopped speaking 50 seconds before the clock was up.
Yeah.
And he just started staring at the sky and dancing, and he just didn't know what he was doing. He let us drown for 50 seconds on the radio.
He did, which is an eternity. I mean, he could have given like 4 takes.
Nothing.
In those 50
he
seconds.
could have said something, but we kept looking at him, and he was afraid to talk because he knew the clock was coming up in 50 seconds.
Well, he's burned. I mean, he started the show off right before we went on air saying, I'm not going to get hit by the hard network out today. And then we hit him with the first 3, and there was no way he was missing that last one.
No way.
No way. So he chose silence over doing radio.
That's right. And he was terrible. Guillermo, help me out here with something happening behind the scenes here. You have now gotten the experience of dealing with Lorenzo. Lorenzo, what happened?
That's not a fair way to start this.
Well, no, but I believe Lorenzo is one of the biggest fans this show has. Lorenzo handles the television production for this show from Washington, and he's the one that puts it on ESPNU. And Lorenzo's passion is something that we absolutely want to be following because he cares very deeply about what we're doing here. But not unlike some other producers we've seen in the past, Brad makes me think of this, Brad Morgan. He can be a little bit of a bulldog with the bits in the bowl where he spills everything all over the place. Like you're eating the bits in the bowl and you're eating so vigorously that all of a sudden the kitchen is filled with bits all over the table. That's what Lorenzo is, right? That's fair to say that that's what Lorenzo is.
I mean, Brad's a little more accomplished than Lorenzo.
Okay. So what is happening here? That's right. Brad is now hosting Desus and Mero, is producing Desus and Mero.
You made Stugotz uncomfortable.
Do you not like being bossed around? Is Lorenzo bossing you around? What's happening
No,
here?
I mean, Lorenzo, okay, so this is what's going on. You've been wanting us to do stuff for Sherman, like to get Sherman to come on the show. So we had ideas for that, and then Lorenzo also came up with the idea for like an alternative fan fest, which is a good idea, but it's kind of short notice, so it's hard to put something like that together. So there were lots of ideas for both things. These are 2 separate events, so we're trying to get this all organized. And we had a call the other day, and we were talking about FanFest, and Lorenzo's first idea is, let's have Big Boy perform. And I said, Lorenzo, that's ridiculous.
No, but Lorenzo's got a lot of big ideas. Lorenzo's got a lot of big ideas.
Like that.
We could absolutely get Method Man to perform. Absolutely. Like, we could get Method Man to perform.
Yeah, for money.
No.
You think Method Man will just fly down and do this?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
Lorenzo's not crazy.
Yes, I do.
You're going to have to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he thinks big, though. I do.
He does think big.
Well, the other idea that they presented me cost $30,000, and I don't really have a budget for this, so it's hard to plan these things without knowing.
What was that idea? What was the idea? The $30,000 idea?
Well, that was one of our Sherman ideas. So, have you seen how they've been projecting things onto like Trump hotels? We wanted to be projecting wanted posters of Bruce Sherman around, like on Marlins Park or different places.
Great idea.
Good.
Yeah, but for 4 hours, it's $30,000.
Right. Okay. Well,
and it's not going to last like 5 minutes before they take it down.
Well, the way that this works with radio stunts and stuff, usually some people can, barter and trade and stuff because they want attention for their company. So if somebody wants to get into the projection business, we could smoke out Bruce Sherman as our first act of public relations. Hold on a second. I want to get back to this conversation in a second, but the delirious Greg Cody is with us now. We're not going to hard network out you. Thank you for lifting your ban on our phone calls to you.
Greg, it's 30 minutes till 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's okay. Nobody's going to hard network out you here.
All right. Did you refer to me as delirious?
Well, yeah. Well, because we don't understand what's going on with you. We don't understand what happened the night of the megacast. People have a lot of confusion about the night of the Metacast. You came in here, and we all thought that you were acting medicated.
Okay, I was medicated.
Okay, what were you medicated on? What a Metacast?
I think I was all doped up on Claritin.
All right, and so how would you describe your behavior that evening?
I don't know. One can never see oneself like others do. I don't know. Why are we talking about it a month later?
But didn't you think it was weird?
Still
because
reeling,
we're
man.
worried about you. We're worried that that there are pockets missing in your mind.
Pockets missing in my mind.
We're just wondering.
That's poetic.
Okay, but are we accurate? Like, is there stuff happening with your mind that we need to start paying attention to?
No, I think I'm good. I have been battling a terrible cold that is persisting. It's not a flu. I think it's just a regular cold, but I'm still not over it. I'm still congested.
Greg, I don't think you have a cold. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Can you have a cold for two months?
No, you can, man. I'm telling you, this thing's going around. My mother-in-law has it. I'm telling you.
I know it's going around.
I've had it. I've had it for the last week and a half.
Okay.
The 2-month cold is going around?
Well,
Yeah,
listen,
it's tough to get rid of.
what happens
I can't shake it.
Yeah, when you work in small environments, very tight, very close, like we do, close quarters, then what happens, I'm sure Greg has felt better, then he comes here, and then he feels worse again, because you just keep getting it. Like, that's the way it works.
I don't think that's the way it works.
No, Stugatz is 100% correct. I feel well enough that I have offered to race an elephant, and apparently you can't make it happen.
All right. Thank you, Greg, for your time. We'll talk to you soon. Greg, that was Greg's contribution the other day. He comes in here. Nice chatting with you, too.
Seems just fine, actually.
No, this is Greg's contribution. He's another one. You and Greg angling at every turn for stuff that gets you more attention. I got that text from Greg Cody. He believes he deserves this based on his recent appearance on our radio shows. Hey, Dan, can you set up me racing the elephant? I want to race an elephant. Can you set that up? Was an actual request. And so, of course, because I aim to serve both you and Cody, it's my last career request.
Thank you.
I call McGill, and I'm like, McGill, can we figure out a way for Greg to race an elephant? And he says, understandably, Dan, we can't get elephants to just run. Like, they run when they feel like it.
Can you get him to race Method Man?
Mike Golick here. You know, ADT, the #1 security company, can now help keep you safe at home and when you're on the go. Get started with the ADT Starter Kit professionally installed for only $49. Plus, you'll get ADT Go, the new family mobile safety app and service with 24/7 emergency response for free with any ADT security system. Go to ADT.com/podcast to learn more today.
Requires 36-month monitoring contract, QSP and Easy Pay. Activation and early termination fees may apply. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com. Additional charge for ADT Go premium services after March 31st, 2018.
Don Le Batard.
My mom, first visit, worried about her son, comes in the Worcester, which is the armpit of America. And within 5 minutes, a SWAT team rolls up. We think it's for my house. It's for the house next door. It's a crack house, and my mom wanted to bring me home.
A what team?
SWAT team. Is that what you call it? Squad team? I don't know.
Stugatz.
They had big guns.
Wait a minute.
And a lot of armor.
You think that the team that storms into your house and knocks over the door wearing uniforms as law enforcement, you have thought all your life that that's a SWAT team?
They squatted.
People in the house.
The people in the house were squatting.
No, they came in with like guns blazing and they had their armor on and they all got in the shooting position and they were squatting.
This is the Dan Le Batard show with the Stugatz on the ticket.
The NBA, man, the NBA is gangster. The NBA wants to get in on gambling. Brian Windhorst is reporting the NBA wants to spearhead gambling in a way that gets the NBA a percentage of gambling.
Yes.
Which is just crazy. Adam Silver feels like he has it, and I'm with it. I am absolutely with Adam Silver shaking the cages on this, but he acts as if he doesn't have a disgraced referee already on his hands that represents one of the greatest scandals in sports history.
The NBA wants, according to Brian Windhorst, the NBA wants 1% of every bet made on its games. In addition to some other stuff, but 1%. It's a massive amount of money.
It's like this country making marijuana legal and then saying, hey, let's get some of the profits off of that. Let's tax that.
Right. Well, that's what the NBA, they're saying, hey, everyone's betting on it anyways. We might as well make something off of it.
It is brilliant. I don't know if they're going to be able to get the lobbyists to do it, but if the NBA can get 1% of bets, if the NBA can figure out a way to navigate the stigma of this, because you can't be in bed with your gambling organizations as a sports franchise, Stugatz. There are integrity issues that make that very complicated. But if Adam Silver is looking, I want 1% of betting on our games. Good God, that's mafia.
Yeah.
That is why people admire godfathers of crime families if he's able to pull that one off.
Yeah, and I'm just reading here off the story. Windhorst is saying the NBA wants more widespread access to gambling for its fans, pushing for bets to be made legal on smartphones and kiosks in the arenas.
The NBA wants to be a leader on you can bet on our games on your phone. Good God, is that a poison well of danger?
Yeah, a leader in the States. I've been to soccer stadiums in Europe where they're betting kiosks.
Europe is far less repressed than we are on this stuff. When you think about it, there is no reason in entertainment to not have the ability to wager on it. Like everybody who likes sports and likes wagering is shrugging their shoulders at this and saying, of course a league would want in on 1% of all bets made. But you're talking about the NBA here wanting to be a leader. The NBA has been progressive in terms of social activism. This is a really unusual place, and it is a money grab, the largest kind of money grab. This is an unusual place to plant your flag if you're someone who wants to represent good values to your paying customers in a way that makes you tell the players how to dress. Like you're telling the players how to dress because of how you want to represent your league to your customers. And here you're saying, yeah, we're going to go 1% on the crime. We'd like to make the crime legal. We'd like to change the government's laws. It's not even like what they did in pulling the All-Star game out of Charlotte where you're trying to put pressure on the government to change its bathroom laws. It's saying, no, we want to be active on the business part of changing the laws. I could like that as a gambler and be scared to holy hell of it as a journalist.
Of course, yeah. I think not just a journalist. I think a lot of people would have concerns about that, right? The integrity of the league.
I love that Adam Silver is just pressing the gas on it. Give me 1% of all bets made on our league is just Adam Silver might as well say, to me, what Adam Silver is doing here is what he's not willing to do with marijuana, which is simply say all our guys should be allowed to smoke whenever they want to smoke. Like, that's what he's doing here.
Right.
Except in here, he's got a business interest. Here, he's got a untapped form of revenue. I can't even imagine how much money that would represent if the NBA were to somehow, I don't even know how the NBA could go about getting that. 1% of all bets made on our league?
I have no idea. I'll have to read.
Mike, how much money would that be?
I mean, Nevada in 2016 had $4.5 billion in sports wagers. I'm trying to find out how much of that was on the NBA. I mean, obviously the NFL is king, right?
Well, but I just think if you're doing gambling in the United States, the asking for 1% sounds like asking for nothing, but it's like that the clerical error in Office Space. You know, the clerical error in Office Space where they're just changing a bank account by 0.0001%, or they're just getting a penny off a certain account, and next thing you know, they look up and they've got way too much money, yes. And they're committing giant fraud. Yeah. That's what the NBA is doing. Hey, we'll just take 1% of all gambling. How much is that? Oh, $7 trillion. Seriously. All bets made on basketball?
Yes. Adam Silver wants 1% of that revenue. Yep. Of all bets made.
This is a crazy story.
Well, they want to legalize. I guess they're on the forefront of, they're spearheading the NBA, a plan to legalize gambling. And because they're on the forefront, they're spearheading this entire thing. They want to go to Congress with their plan. And the plan is, hey, we get 1%. That's part of their plan.
And a little bit of Stugotz and everybody, right?
It's a fair ask. Yes. I mean, why not?
I mean, is it a fair ask? Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is it fair of the NBA to ask for 1% of gambling on its games while advocating the government to change the laws on gambling? Because, I mean, most things are not quite that self-serving. Let's knock down the stigma on something that has been illegal in our country. Let's make it legal. And also because we want to cash in on 1% of it. Commissioners are never quite that brazen.
No, but that's why a lot of people like Adam Silver.
I mean,
because he's thinking that way.
Yes, well, Guillermo, you'll like this. Stugotz during the break just kept muttering, "I like how Lorenzo thinks. I like how big Lorenzo thinks."
I do. I'm not saying it's all going to happen. I like I like how he thinks big.
I know. I do too. We have big ideas around here. What we don't have is big execution. We got plenty of big ideas that involve Method Man and Big Boy doing a Sham Fest concert opposite Marlins Fan Fest.
10 days from now.
That's right. Well, our planning's not strong.
Yeah.
Our planning as an entity, our planning is not strong because these things usually take 7-8 months, and we're always trying to do them in 4 days. Right?
I mean, I have
Mike's
difficulty.
talking to the city about permits on dumpsters for parades. These things take months and months.
Mike would kill to have 4 days to plan something.
Yeah.
I have difficulty booking a hotel for a trip months from now, and now I'm somehow approving a fan fest.
That's
with
why
Big
this
Boy
trip
performing.
to Bristol is good for you. You need to start thinking a little bit larger. You don't need to think Big Boy concerts, but everyone around here needs to start thinking just a little bit larger.
Yeah, but I need a budget. I need something so we don't have 5,000 shirts and a trophy that we're stuck with.
Fair enough. We're learning what it's like. I mean, look, man, we can't be trusted with budgets. One of them was spent on buying that trophy that's still in Mike Ryan's garage for a fantasy league. We clearly can't be trusted with budgets. Honestly, think about this for a second, Guillermo. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about some executive deciding, hey, let's give Stugotz a budget. How do you think that one's going to go?
Be spent very quickly by my wife.
I mean, it's kind of related. I don't want to be throwing anybody under the bus, but we wouldn't have wasted the budget if we thought maybe a little bit smaller because we had a very pragmatic plan in place with an infrastructure that would have been easy to execute, but we went for a moonshot.
We did go for a
and
moonshot.
it blew up in our face.
That's right. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about.
And now Charlie's back in the picture.
Yeah, I spoke to him for about 45 minutes yesterday. That was fun.
Oh, Charlie. All right, well,
Chaz, he thinks big as well, right? Poor execution, but has big, big dreams and aspirations. For himself. Wants to run this company.
Don't like looking in that mirror, do you?
Well, it's just a means to an end for him. I mean, he wants to use us as a launching pad to run ESPN.
Don't like that mirror, do you? Don't like the way that mirror looks?
Nope.
Charlie smiling back at you.
Yes. I looked in my mirror and there's.
Hold on. What's going on with Charlie? This is for the old school listeners of this show. What's going on with Charlie?
I mean, I've gotten a lot of stories from different people, but it appears to me that Charlie's role is to rein in Lorenzo a bit, so that we don't have extra shirts and trophies and Big Boy requests.
Okay, wow. So Charlie is the Lorenzo governor?
I think so.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is Charlie in charge of Lorenzo? Because you've got. Hold on. Charlie helped us on Fusion Television, helped bring us to Fusion Television, helped bring all of this to television. And then he went to work in Washington for the ride-home arm of the Bristol Empire, PTI, Around the Horn, highly questionable in this show. And now Charlie's back in the mix here planning budgets on what?
Well, so Charlie went up to Washington. He stopped being on camera. Then he was tired of us, and he moved on to other projects. And then I don't know what happened with that. But now Charlie's back, and he seems to be in a role above Lorenzo. This is going to get me in a lot of trouble, all these conversations.
Oh, but I don't know what these roles are.
He's there to help.
No,
Lorenzo.
the way that I thought this was all working is Billy and Mike and Roy and Chris and Allison and Lorenzo and Charlie and Dominique and everyone else is putting together more television stuff. No?
Charlie seems to be some form of middle management that has to approve things, which isn't great.
Who's in charge?
That's a great question. I don't know.
No one knows.
No one knows, but there's extra people in the middle now.
Okay, so we don't know who's in charge. There are extra people in the middle, and who's got the money?
Another great question.
Yeah, well, no one's got the money.
No one has the money.
No one has the money. That's one thing that's for sure. Sales could potentially have the money if we gave them more than 4 days.
You guys have just done bureaucracy. That's how bureaucracy works. That I told you guys this story. When we were planning that UCF parade, the head of the Empire in Washington picked his head up from a computer and just blurted, "Who's paying for all of this?" Like, we got a bunch of people in charge. This is where we are as the fastest growing sports radio show in the history of AM radio and a marching band to nowhere. More bureaucrats than ever, no one in charge.